Now, you might have fell asleep. Obviously, a lot of people did. The Cowboys win 20-15. They do not cover, though, if you got it at 5.5. They do cover if you got it at 5 somehow, like A.J. Hawk is going to say, or they do push it like A.J. Hawk is going to say. So we'll have a lot to chat about with the Cowboys and the Giants last night. Danny Dimes threw the ball 40 times. A lot of the conversation was if the Giants have to throw the ball more than 25 times, it's going to be a loss, especially with how the Dallas team has been giving up big runs. Well, the New York Giants rushed for 36 yards. Danny Dimes threw the ball 40 times. That seems like a recipe that you wouldn't win the game, but their time of possession, 35 minutes plus. So they were dominating the time of possession, but they were losing outright. And Brandon Aubrey could have made a field goal with like 30 seconds left to put them up 8 and have the Dallas Cowboys cover the 5.5, which I believe 80% of the people were betting on. Instead, he misses, which this dude doesn't do. Okay, Brandon Aubrey actually doesn't miss. Had another 60-yarder left. Had a 65-yarder last week. This dude, I learned his story a little bit more during the Prime kickoff show. His MLS career had ended. He said it did not go as well as he had planned it. He was with his wife watching football. Didn't know what his next step was going to be. I think he got into like doing finance or something like that. Got a completely new profession. I'm a retired professional athlete. Kind of lost his identity. And his wife, while they were watching football one Sunday, said, I know he has a cannon. Like, you got to be able to.
Come on.
You got to be able to do this. Found a kicking instructor 45 minutes away from his house. Would travel 3 times a week for 2 years. 2 years.
Wow.
He trained to figure it out. Had a natural stroke early. Then he goes to the USFL. Then he gets to the Dallas Cowboys, and the guy hits 19 straight kicks to start his NFL career. And he doesn't just make them. They're going right down the center. They're in massive moments with a lot of eyes on him, and he's slaughtering the ball. He misses with 30 seconds left. And 80% of the sports gamblers lose.
Okay.
Okay.
About, huh?
Okay. They're saying that Buffalo Wild Wings thing where you hit that button, or maybe Roger Goodell drops into the stadium and goes in with an invisible cloak on him, or these gamblers are. Whatever the case, it was a little bit of a snoozer, but week 4 of the NFL season is off and running. NFC East is going to have a lot of conversations about them as the season goes on. People are questioning a lot of things. Chuck Pagano has thrown himself into an NFC East conversation that's been brewing for a few years. That is everywhere, and we told him that was going to be noted. We are on the eve of Georgia-Bama in a massive college football slate. It is a great time to be a football fan, and we're very lucky to do what we do for a living.
The penalties, I mean, come on now. The tackles for the Cowboys definitely had a lot of trouble with that Giants defensive front, but there were a few, flags picked up. There were a few flags right off the bat. I mean, we saw Cody Bellinger, and of course, the Giants didn't have as many as the Cowboys, but right away, one of those 4 for the Giants was a face mask called on Cody Bellinger.
Completely wrong.
How do you even get this wrong? Like, I don't understand
it's his face mask getting tossed around. Not the Cowboys. He got called for a face mask. Then there was a hold. That was a flag was picked up on a touchdown. So early there was a lot of people saying these refs are rigging this for the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, why did the Giants never beat the Dallas Cowboys? Well, because they got stripes on their side early. That was conversation early, very loud.
Yeah.
But it turns out these refs just stunk.
Yeah.
These refs are just throwing flags all over everything. Yep. The amount of offsetting penalties, we tried to look it up. Was this the most in the history?
I think it was like 5 or 6 of them.
Is it the most in the history? Because that's an extra 10, 12 penalties there that could get added into that entire thing. And that's another stoppage, another full explanation. There was numerous times last night where we had to hold on. So a little bit more chatting. All right, that's what we thought.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, and it's on a nice show there. They're talking about some of these ref crews really throwing the flags a lot. And then in our opinion, I think there's some crews that have been doing very well because it's not a topic of conversation every single Monday like it has been for the last 3-4 years. Yep. Literally every single Monday, it would be some ref crew screwed some team in a massive moment. And then as soon as that happens, that's kind of a bird call to everybody else. Be like, did you see what happened in the first quarter of our game? And then bang, bang, bang. It's like, these refs stink. This year, that has not been the case as much. I think the conversation's been these offenses suck. Yeah. Not the refs suck in this entirety. Defenses are good, not the refs suck. Last night it started back up. It started back up with like, hey, refs, we're not here for you. Okay. We're not here for you. And then I guess this weekend's Colts-Steelers game has Land Clark, who I think he throws the second amount of flag. Cleet Blakeman throws the number 1 most amount of flags. And Cleet is gourmet. He's jacked too. I don't know what his crew's up to. I guess they see the game better than every other crew, but it's like these types of things are not what the NFL wants. These are not the type of things that the NFL fans are looking for. You see the illegal formation penalty that certainly dissipated as I think they were hoping would happen. But boy, that got loud. Fans got loud. It's like We don't need 5-6 offsetting penalties plus another, like, we don't need that happening. That's not how it needs to be.
It always feels like in the opening game of the year with the Chiefs and Ravens, and then the Brazil game, the primetime games last night, the flags come early too. Like, they do settle down later in the game, but it's always like the first drive, second drive, third drive when people are just tuning in. So it makes it even worse because it's like the first 3 drives of the game is just a ton of flags. Eventually they settle in. I don't know if they're trying to make a point on how they're going to call it that game or whatever, but it feels like they are early, and it's in prime time a lot too.
Money lost last night big time by gamblers.
Yeah, 80 over 80%. Yeah, on that field goal, which, you know.
Think about these sports books.
I know.
They're continuing.
Yeah.
How do they do it? They dump this thing into a never-ending vat of gasoline.
Yep.
And then just light it. And then it's just they step in the batter's box and they're doing this number here.
Yep, here we go.
Boom, bang, boom.
Dinger.
Bang,
Gotta be AI.
boom.
Dinger.
5, 5.5, 6 all day.
They gotta love the dogs because 15-3 ATS now are dogs of 5 or more points on this season, which is huge because people don't normally like betting dogs, especially the big dogs. They just take the favorites blindly. But Al last night saying when Aubrey was coming out to kick, he goes, a lot of people were loving that he's coming out to kick this field goal right now, and then he missed it.
Yeah, and then he said,
Did.
a lot of people
Yeah.
not loving it.
Hated
Brandon
it.
Aubrey seemingly missed the kick for the first time ever. This guy walks on the field, makes the kick, and that ball even like turns mid-flight.
Did, yeah.
And then it
Goodell
straightens.
blew it, damn it.
I mean, there's
That's
a
why.
chance that invisible
Controlling
club.
the wind.
I mean,
Turn that fan
Well,
off.
well, let's not talk about controlling the wind right now, obviously.
And the clouds.
Joining us right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who was given a 5-point line because that is what was on the graphic, but after further investigation and research, the number was actually 5.5.
Ooh.
So he's not given a loss. He's given a draw, a push. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy who hammered the Cowboys last night. Big Mike's biggest fan. Actually designed the hat that Big Mike was wearing last night during that game. AJ Hawk. Hawker, you got a push last night, seemingly.
Yeah,
You,
I got to push. I got to push at 5, and you got to win. Is that right? How's that work?
yeah. Well, listen. If we're going to go with what the actual line was, which was 5.5, okay, I win, you lose. But instead, we're saying, no.
Being gracious here.
No, AJ, you don't deserve that because the graphic did say that, but it was anyway 6 to 5.5 to 5. Nonetheless, these sports books are swinging a hot bat. What did you learn from that game last night? How do you feel about that Cowboys defense only giving up so many rush yards as opposed to what they had been the last couple weeks when everybody was calling them soft and everyone's saying these guys don't have any gap discipline and these guys are a bunch of hero mans all over the field trying to do everything for everybody else. They have no trust or faith in each other. They obviously get a win. Danny Dimes throws it 40 times. That's not a recipe. What is your big takeaway, and how do you feel about that Cowboys defense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if the Giants were going to win a game, this was a game that they needed to win. I think the Cowboys had, 11 penalties on them. The Cowboys did everything they could, I think, to honestly allow the Giants to be in that thing. And I think the Cowboys, obviously on offense, I know Lombo likes stats. I'm not a huge stat guy, but I think the Giants had like 1.1 yards per rush, which honestly, if you do that, that's not exactly winning football. Tough to win a game that way, but I mean, I thought Danny Dimes was all right. You can't settle for field goals. You got to get the ball in the end zone. I think that's the name of that game last night.
Congrats to the Cowboys getting a win in the snoozer.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it was a terrible
kind of
game.
cagey,
snoozer
match.
is-
So pumped that it was over when it ended. It was like, God, thank God I can turn this TV off right now.
That was everybody's kind of takeaway. I fell asleep.
Smart. I wish I did.
Hard not to.
I wish I did.
Woke up, watched it this morning, and as I was watching it, I'm like, thank God I fell asleep in this entire thing. But then I went and checked the internet. I'm like, what was everybody's reaction to this game that I'm watching right now? And that's kind of a fun time. You get to look back a few hours on everybody. There's a lot of people going, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This
People
one.
saying,
Yeah.
not even just last night. I saw a ton of tweets saying the season's been boring, which I don't love.
Swagoo said, this game's cheeks, dude. Get me out of here. It's like, that's not how it's supposed to be with Cowboys and Giants either. You know?
Prime time.
Especially with the vibes that the Giants had going into that game. And then Dak Prescott, what he has been. Now, granted, they didn't have the ball there, really, for a while. They were being successful. C.D. Lamb doing his thing and then getting called. Obviously, penalty. Got to call it.
Yep.
Got to throw a flag. Certainly have to.
Have to. Don't have a choice.
Why wouldn't we?
It's ridiculous.
All right, so let's sort it out. Hey, let's figure it out, NFL games, primetime games.
Here on out.
Oh man, look at
gonna be
that!
great.
That taunting.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
come on, dude.
Said he threw the ball in the general direction of the defender.
He's just excited. He wasn't throwing the ball at his opponent.
Brother,
Even if he
Look
was.
like it.
think about the human that is eyeballing that and being like, I I don't like that.
Think of some of the stuff that people think of some of the things that don't get flagged, and then you get flagged for this. I don't know. Just doesn't add up.
We'll have Saban on next hour. We'll also have Coach Kalen DeBoer on in the next hour. So we won't have DeBear on, but we will have DeGoat and DeBoer on in the next hour, which we are obviously incredibly honored about. But Coach Saban talked about, I think, last week on the show. He said, just define it actually, what's allowed and what's not allowed, so I know what I can coach. Because then whenever it's just like, he threw it in the general vicinity, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And I saw his eyes. I don't know if everybody else saw his eyes.
Same cardinal direction.
His eyes were giving, what, bitch? Even though he didn't say it. Yeah. So we can't have that, right? So that is an interesting, and I assume this all revolves around the Tyreek Hill deuces thing too, where he does the look back with the hand.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that? Why is that a problem?
Let him do it.
And they said, well, kids don't need to learn that. It's like,
hey, will he get fined for this? Sorry, will he get fined too? That's
millions.
terrible if he does.
Yeah, they're taking away his whole entire contract from the year, I think.
it's game check? You're saying it's a game check? I don't think it's the whole year.
No, whole year, yeah. They're just so that he doesn't do it in the future.
He just signed the deal.
Maybe kick him off the tour.
They're taking it all.
He's getting suspended?
Kicked off the tour.
I mean, there's a chance you do that type of in the vicinity throw.
Can't have it.
Maybe, you're right. Maybe suspend him a week like Derwin James.
Might cut his hand off.